Hello friends, welcome to Cooking, Shooking and Chai. I'm going to be sharing with you today this amazing chicken soup recipe. It is an Asian style chicken soup which is really popular back home. I'm going to say it's Asian because similar to egg drops that we see usually in the States. I'm going to be trying it with the new vegetables this time, so let's get into the recipe. So as you guys know, every soup has to start with a good base, and in this case we're going to be using chicken stock to make that base. So my daughter Zoya will be going over some ingredients with you to make a good chicken stock in this case and for this particular recipe. So let's start.
ठीक है, पहले हमको एक प्याज चाहिए होते हैं,
हाफ हमें अनियन
और सोया सॉस, काली मिर्चें और ये क्या है,
garlic,
और गार्लिक.
and of course we'll need some chicken, and we need to take some brown chicken meat with lots of bones, like bone in parts. So you might need wings, back of the breast which have bones in it. We don't need a lot of meat, just brown soft meat with a lot of bone. Here I'm also using a chicken neck. It's supposed to make really good chicken broth or chicken stock, so this would be a perfect thing to use for a chicken stock. And of course, to make the chicken stock, we'll need a good large chicken stock pot, and we'll throw all the chicken in there, and then we're gonna add the soy sauce that I told you about. The black peppercorns will go in too, and then lastly we'll put garlic cloves in there. Now the onion I have chopped roughly into big pieces, and that goes in there as well. Now this is totally optional, you guys. I'm gonna be using some salt to taste in there. I've used kosher salt. So now we'll fill this stock pot up with water all the way till you have like 1/4 of the space left in the stock pot, about 3/4 parts full, because we have to cook it for about 20 to 25 minutes on medium to medium high heat, and that is going to reduce some of the stock. So let's make sure it's full enough, but it's not too full so that it will boil out of the pot. So it has been about 25 minutes now. After about 25 minutes, your stock will just turn into a beautiful color, and all these spices and onions will have released the flavor, plus the chicken. Onions will be translucent, and that's how you know it's cooked. Now it's time to take out the chicken pieces, piece by piece, and making sure that the onion or the peppercorns or garlic is not in our way. And then we'll be straining all this stock into a different bowl, and then we'll be transferring it back to the pot to make our soup. So here I have collected the chicken in this bowl, and I'm going to pull this apart into smaller pieces so it looks somewhat like this. It's not like shredded chicken, it's more like pulled apart into smaller pieces, not too big, not too small. So our next step will be to strain all this stock through a sieve and into a bowl, and then we'll have to transfer this all back into stock pot to cook our soup. But first I'm going to strain this and mash all those onions and everything in there with a spatula to just get all the flavors inside of it. So here goes all the goodness and flavors back into the stock pot. I have turned the stove to high heat, and I'm going to be adding half a cup of canned corn, and I'm going to be adding half red bell pepper chopped finely. I love red bell pepper. It brings out the color as well as the flavors. And I'm going to be putting like 4 to 5 mushrooms, roughly chopped, small chopped mushrooms in there. Finally going to be taking some carrots, julienne cut carrots, slice them finely, and in goes the carrots, and then give it a mix. And finally our pulled chicken pieces. At this point I'll add half a teaspoon of ground black pepper to it. So right now is a great time to check for salt, and if you want, this is totally optional, you guys, but you can use chicken powder or chicken bouillon to flavor your soup if you are missing any salt. It just brings out the flavors more, it just brings some more color to it. Just perfect for my taste buds. Awesome and delicious. So keep in mind, we just have to boil it for 1 to 2 minutes, not a whole lot, not to over tenderize the vegetables. So we are going to do this while the soup is boiling for 1 to 2 minutes. We're going to make a slurry out of cornstarch and water to thicken the soup. We're going to use cold water. I'm taking 4 tablespoons of cornstarch here, and I'm just mixing it so we don't have any lumps in there and it's not chunky. We need it to be like a whole milk or full fat milk consistency. We don't want it too thin like water. We want it to be a little thicker because we want the soup to get thick, not thin. So it's gonna just take a whole lot of effort if you want to make a thin slurry instead of a thick slurry. So look at this, it's just like about whole milk consistency. So I'm adding this as the soup is staying at medium heat, so we don't get any chunks in there of the cornstarch. After we add in the slurry, it needs to cook for a good 20 minutes to make sure that the slurry, the cornstarch mixture is cooked well. So we might add some more later to make it thicker, depends on the consistency you want. Here I'm adding more cornstarch to thicken it even more, and trying to see how thick it is now, adding more again. So I like it thicker because when I add the eggs, it's gonna affect the consistency, the thickness of the soup. So after adding the cornstarch and getting the desired consistency, I'm gonna give it a good 10 minutes before I add my eggs into it. Now while my soup cooks, I'm gonna crack some eggs into a bowl, and I'm taking about 4 eggs. I'm going to be giving it a good whisk. I'm going to go back and forth with my whisk like this. I'm going to beat my eggs till all the contents of the eggs are broken. There we go. Perfect. So friends, this soup is looking quite amazing over here. It's boiling on high. I'm going to add my eggs really slowly. Okay, look at this. I'm really adding the thin, flow of this egg mixture to it, and I'm not stirring at all. As you can see, I'm not using any spoon. The temperature is high and it's boiling at this time to get the eggs to look more fluffier and bigger, like the egg drop soup at the restaurants. So I don't stir it like for 1 or 2 minutes. I give it a good 1 or 2 minutes, and the mixture boils in with the eggs. And I'm just so glad at how amazing this soup looks. Look at all the vegetables and the chicken and the eggs, and everything just glows and flows all together. I just love it. It's time to just take out the soup and serve it. And my good friends, if you have come that far to watch my recipe, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more goodness and more recipes your way. Now why don't we give this deliciousness a serve? Let's serve this, and I'm just going to use a neutral colored soup eating bowl and pouring this in. Look, I'm sure you can tell the depth and flavors that this would have. So last but not least, I'm going to top it with some soy sauce, and I'm going to use some Tabasco for some spice and a little kick to it. Here I'm putting some serrano peppers soaked in vinegar, and I'll use some green onions to give it a little more chunkiness and crisp. Here goes height of deliciousness. So if you enjoyed watching my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share my video so your friends and loved ones can also try this recipe. I wish you all the best, and I hope you try this recipe and let me know how it was. I'll see you again with my new recipe soon. Thank you for watching.